My city is like a zoo. My city is like a zoo. These crackers keep us in cages. We crazy when we get loose. My city is like a zoo.
Hi, welcome to Less Lossy Reviews. This is my my review for BBU, Bin Laden Blown Up, Black, Brown, and Ugly, their new album, Bell Hooks. So BBU is a Chicago-based rap group, and this is their second full-length mixtape, and it's available for free online, and it'll actually be in the description box. And I think you should just download this. This is a fantastic album. It's one of the best rap albums I've ever heard. And it is one of the best albums I've heard for this year, and it's definitely a contender or up there for best album of the year. Bell Hooks starts off with a spoken word poem, which I thought was really cool because you don't really hear that very much anymore in music. I mean, you don't really hear that much anymore in rap either. You don't get to hear sort of spoken word poetry done, and it's not like it's done like William S. Burroughs with a track underneath of it. No, it's done quiet. Like it's just basically the person speaking. And it's really emotionally charged, and it's really politically charged, and it's a fantastic beginning to this album. And that spoken word poem at the very beginning really sets the stage for the first for the whole album. I gotta say, after hearing that one poem at the very beginning, I was ready to love this album. So I think right off the bat, I gotta be real. Like, I'm a white, nerdy guy from Canada, and I think that a lot of the subject matter on this album isn't going to sort of, like, I don't understand it. And the reason why I don't understand it is because I haven't had those experiences, and I don't live in that geographical location, and I don't belong to these different ethnicities that are being discussed in this album. But I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't take away from the fact that I hear on this album a lot of passion and just a boiling anger that is spoken with such clarity about the issues that they're talking about on this album. Issues about racism, issues about sexism and gender, and having a community where people can be healthy and happy. So no, although I might not be someone living in Chicago who's seen sort of it all, or has had friends in this sort of in situations that are talked about on this album, I still think that I get that there's so much passion and will behind what is going on in this album. And when I said anger earlier, I don't really mean an anger where, like, an aggressive anger. I mean an anger where you really want to change something. You want to be you want to be a part of positive change. That's the kind of anger I hear on this album. I think thematically this album is really about America dealing with her shit. And what I mean by that, I think that there's so many deeply embedded, really deep racial issues in the United States. And this album really looks at racism, and it looks at sexism, and it looks like bigotry, and I think that it's about, Black people and Hispanic people and even some white people and how they function under a completely white-dominated America. It's a really interesting album because it shows, like, situations where, you've got a lot of drug addiction and drug abuse in communities. You're talking about people who are Black and Hispanic people that are put in jail for absolutely no reason. You're talking about not landing a record contract and trying to do everything DIY. And you're talking about, communities where there's just a lot of violence in general. To me, this album, it really speaks about, like, everybody, like, just doing their job, doing what they can to make their community a better place and a healthy place for everyone involved. There isn't a bad song on this album. Like, I loved Kurt de la Rocha. I loved Outlaw Culture. I loved The Hood. I loved Jumpers. 26 and Cali was amazing. There's so many good songs in this album. There's really not anything I can pick apart. The production's good, the lyrics are good, the MCs are awesome. It's just so punchy and it has so much relevancy today. So BBU, Bell Hooks, 9.5 out of 10. I think it's one of my favorite albums this year so far. I think this album has a huge amount of potential. I think that the subject matter it talks about on it is so honest and so valuable. And I think that the music quality is just fantastic as well. This album's going to go far. I really believe it. And this band will go far if this album doesn't necessarily. My name's Adam Price. You just watched Less Lossy Reviews. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll have something up pretty soon.